Story 1. Good day, everyone. I'll try to keep this as short as possible. In November, my then girlfriend of 5 years and the mother of our 3-year-old son cheated on me. I had taken her son to our grandparents, as I always do on the weekends, and she stayed behind at our apartment. She asked me to call an Uber for her to see a friend, didn't respond to my texts the rest of the day, and could not account for her time or whereabouts when I asked the next day. Fast forward to NYE. She got drunk and bragged to a mutual friend that she had banged someone on the night in question, someone I know. The mutual friend told me I was livid and told my ex to pack all of her stuff and leave the apartment. When I probed about the infidelity, she said that she had no choice but to cheat because I had grown distant and she felt I didn't love her anymore. She has moved to a friend's place to sort herself out, and I currently have her son. I am devastated. She is unemployed, got retrenched recently, near homeless, and has no idea when she'll get a job. She asked if I could buy her monthly plane ticket so she can come see her son until she finds a job, but I'm against this. We blocked each other from everywhere, except for WhatsApp, so she can video call her son, but I'm terrified about what happens next. I am a mess, and she seems to have thoroughly moved on, which is fine, whatever, but I fear for what happens next for her son, and how we'll co-parent successfully if she doesn't get a job in the next few months. She has mentioned the possibility of taking her son back, and I'd send some sort of stipend to support the both of them. Really looking for any advice on how to heal from the infidelity and how to successfully co-parent. Now for the top of advice before reading the update. Nope, she left. She emotionally abandoned you and physically abandoned her child due to her cheating. Do not financially support her in any way. Let her get a taste of what life without you will be like. Do not be her safety net. Most importantly, get a lawyer and go to the courts for full custody for your child. Seconding this, get primary custody. Look to your parents or grandparents for help. She's absolutely out for herself and is happy to milk you for all you're worth. If she cared for her kid, she wouldn't have done what she did. I have vacated our apartment and am living with my parents for the next month or so, just really afraid that if lawyers get involved, she may say, look, there's a vacant property for me and my son that we could live in. Speak to a lawyer and understand the law. Right now, what you're doing doesn't change anything or weigh heavily until a lawyer looks at your case and gives you a game plan. She left you and your son. She cheated. She has no job. I'm sure that in a court of law, those 3 pieces as well as 2 of them will weigh heavily on who would have custody of your child. Don't assume. Get a clear picture. Speak to a lawyer before anything else to find out where you stand. Knowledge is power, so learn everything you can about your situation. If you've been the main caregiver and she left, you definitely have a stronger case than she does, and she just can't take back your son. She's an idiot. Sorry you're dealing with this, buddy. Always go for the 50-50 parenting plan. You're as much as a parent as she is, and you should document she left the house, primary residence of your kid. Also be on guard if her drinking is impacting the parenting. If she starts anything, just convey the message. Right now, you two are co-parents, nothing more. So think about your kid's welfare before acting, and she needs to find a job to take care of herself. I know it hurts, but it's only temporary. If you stay with her, you will suffer the rest of your life. Set a goal to be the best parent to your kid. Google gray rocking and implement it with her. Good luck, buddy. You need to see a lawyer ASAP, and you need to get primary custody. She has abandoned your child and isn't even seeing him. Do not let her take your son back. She sees him as a meal ticket. She has nowhere stable to live, and it is not your job to provide that for her. She left your apartment of her own free will. Change the locks and make sure there is no way she can get back in there. If she doesn't have a stable residence or any way to provide for her child, then she is not in a position to have custody. Make sure you show your strong support system of your family and friends and show how weak hers is. She had to move a plane right away to find someone to support her. You can absolutely get full custody and stop her being able to take your son out of the area that you live. It seems harsh when it's put like this, but she is not on your side. She doesn't have your interests at heart, so stop having hers. It's time to be harsh and to put you and your son's best interests first. She made her bed so she can lay in it. Best of luck to you, you seem like a caring dad. Now for the update. Little update, spent 5 days in the psych ward. Don't know if I'm getting better or if the urban all is just zoning me out, but I feel better than when I last posted. An update, I got this message from my ex today. Why are you being so cold when I text you? I just want to know when we can forge a healthy co-parenting relationship. One where we both hate each other, but we can act normal in front of her child and be cordial to each other. I haven't responded. Before that she asked if I'm feeling better and that she hopes I heal. Not sure how to respond. Son is still with me and fam, and she might only be back in 2 months. She's still crowdsourcing money to get an apartment. How do I respond to this? Before this, we only ever spoke when she wanted updates on her son or if she wanted a call to talk to him. That message threw me off a bit. Story 2. My dad and a few other men were installed as church trustees on Sunday and stood with the pastor on stage, and they had to do it for both services. It was announced that he was voted in during a church event where they voted for the members, and we were all there to support him. He also went shopping for what we wore on Sunday too and wanted all of us to look really nice. Dad always yells when we're running late, and most of the time he's yelling at my sister Carol because she takes too long to get dressed, and in the past he's thrown or hit things too. He kicked a chair in the dining room pretty loud when we were younger, and he also threw something that put a hole in the wall too. I used to get spanked for taking too long, but that was a long time ago. With Dad being installed on Sunday, he really wanted us there early, but when my sister was taking too long like she normally does, he began yelling at her and cursing too. I tried to help her get dressed in the past after finishing my stuff early, but he'll yell at me and says she has to do it herself. I've snuck into her room to help her when Dad doesn't want me to because Mom won't help her and is afraid to say anything to Dad. He also yells at her and curses at her. However, this Sunday he had me and my mom wait in the car when we were done, and he did this before Carol wasn't done though, and when Dad came out she wasn't with him, and when he came into the car he said she wasn't going. When I asked why, he said she wasn't listening, and a bunch of other things that I don't want to write, but basically calling her stupid and stuff like that, along with how we were already late. He's left her home before when she was sick or me in the past, or if we were running really late, so I didn't think too much of it. However, when we got back, my sister was still crying in her room, and she had a bruise on her cheek as well. When I asked her what happened, she said that Dad hit her, and she also hasn't eaten since it's now Tuesday and has refused to eat with us at all. When I told Mom what happened and she saw for herself, she said that she would talk to Dad, but that was on Sunday and she doesn't want to talk about it anymore. I don't know if she talked to Dad, but when I tried to talk to him, he told me to mind my business and that I used to be just as bad at her age. But when I told him that he wasn't right, he just yelled at me, and Mom saw and wouldn't do anything. And she also hasn't gone to school the past few days either because Mom told them that she wasn't feeling well. How can I help her when they refuse to do anything and just yell at me for bringing it up? Unless she's eating when I'm not around. She hasn't eaten much of anything since Sunday morning. I want to tell somebody, but if I do, I'm afraid they won't be able to do anything to help. So I want to ask how I should in case I try to do that. I just need help because they won't help me at all. Edit, I'm leaning towards telling a teacher tomorrow. I was just afraid of nothing happening and getting further punished because Mom keeps defending him and would maybe say that I'm lying. I'm also going to take a photo of the bruise since they aren't allowing my sister to leave the home or go to school until the bruise heals. I'm also going to try and sneak her food because Dad says that she's not allowed to eat if she refuses to eat with the family, which is why sneaking her food is hard, but I'll try after they go to sleep. I'm thinking, although I know that she needs it at earlier hours, to now for the top of advices before reading the update. Those poor kids, the little sister is seeing this as being betrayed by Oop, probably because that's how their parents have portrayed it all, but Oop is just trying to help protect her. I truly wish nothing but the worst for those parents. It's easier to be mad at the sister who is safe than be mad at her parents who control her life, and she needs to placate them. Extremely common dynamic with abused children. Yeah, I used to hate my brother who, to be fair, could be pretty cruel to me, but as an adult I finally reckoned with the fact that we were both trying to make it through with an abusive mother and an enabling father. At his worst, he was just imitating how she treated me. Now my brother and I have a relationship, and I can feel more empathy for him when I remember times that she went after him. Yeah, I hated my youngest brother when we were kids, and as an adult I've realized that 90% of his bad behavior was a fairly predictable reaction to the way that we were raised, and a lot of what I hated about him was actually my parents' fault anyway. He would misbehave, my dad would blow his top, and as a kid and teenager way too often. I blame my brother and not our dad. We get along great now. I really like him. I'd be friends with both of my brothers even if we weren't related, I feel like. I lived with my abusive mother till my paternal grandparents adopted me when I was 12. I had a half-sister at my mom's 3 years younger than me, and God, my little self hated her. Every time she got in trouble and got hit, I got hit too. And for not watching her well enough, for not stopping her, for not being in control. I got my nose broken because she didn't walk home straight from school. Even though we went to different schools. Little me thought she did it on purpose to get me in trouble, and some of it she did. I eventually told my grandparents because she was holding something. I can't remember what over my head. If you don't let me watch Power Rangers, I'll tell Mom you did this, so I told my grandparents, and they filed for emergency custody. Now for the update. I wanted to come back to this as something else happened recently that made me upset, but also because a lot of people were asking if we were okay. Things just got really crazy, which is why I didn't check Reddit for a while, but I got a lot of messages asking if we were okay, so when I came back to Vin about something else, I tried to make a new post, but our /relationship advice doesn't seem to allow updates under 18 anymore, and I will be turning 18 in a few months. The other subreddits I posted to were also locked, so that left me here to make an update. I mentioned that my dad didn't allow my sister to go to school until the bruise healed, and a lot of people told me to tell a teacher. I did tell a teacher, but I don't think anything major happened. My sister didn't go back to school until it healed, and I got punished for telling her. I'm guessing someone from the school called my parents, and that led to a big talk with my parents about how someone in the school called or spoke to them. My parents used to spank me in the past, but they didn't hit me when we talked. They took away privileges including my phone, laptop, or not allowing me to see friends, and I was 15 when we talked. They also yelled at me, and I didn't get to see some friends for months because my parents said I made up lies about them. I was also taken out of sports at a place I used to play at after school, and me telling the teacher just became a big thing. My sister said she didn't say anything about being hit upon returning to school because it would have caused more trouble, and her parents told her not to. I didn't know that they told her that until too late, but things have been better with her and my parents since, but for me things have been worse. I mentioned that I was going to try and talk to my aunt, and I told her what happened after my parents told her to deny it. She said that the school should have called CPS, and that she would because it wasn't the first time my dad hit us. He hit us in the past for not wanting to go to church. A mom slapped me across the face for church too. I told Auntie about how telling the school got me in trouble, and she said she didn't want me to get hit for telling her, so she said that she'd call CPS herself without talking to my parents beforehand. She also said that the teacher could have called CPS already, but that another call would add to the record for the future, and she told me to tell her if he hit us again. Dad has not hit me since. Maybe it's because he's afraid people will find out now, but he began treating me differently after telling the school to /CPS because he said it could have gotten him cancelled if people outside the church learned about it. Some people suggested telling people in the church about how he hit us, but I don't think that would work because they're really popular and Dad was re-elected as a trustee since my first post, which really bothers me for how people see him. They're still mad at me for telling others, and I haven't been allowed to work as part of punishment. I hope that can change once I'm 18, but they said that college is off the table as a result. I honestly don't want their help because I just would be tied to them for 4 more years and my sister doesn't talk to me much either. She said she didn't want me to tell anyone back then and she's 12 now. I never thought telling my sister would result in everything that happened, such major punishments, but I'd do it again honestly. Mom said I could have been disowned for trying to get them in trouble too. I'm just trying to see how I can move out with no work experience thanks to their punishment. But also hoping I can repair things with my sister before I move out because we're no longer close. And I think it's because she's afraid to go against them. I just feel like I'm running out of time to connect with her before I turn 18, and she's been distant for over 2 years.